Formulas requiring the removal of powers. When changing the subject of a formula requiring the removal of a square, it should be noted that taking the square root of a square removes the square. Thus, the square root of x squared equals x squared raised to the half, which is equal to x squared times a half. The 2's will cancel, giving me x to the first, which is only x. Similarly, when changing the subject of the formula requiring the removal of a cube, it should be noted that taking the cube root of a cube removes the cube. Thus, the cube root of x cubed equals x to the third raised to the 1/3, which equals to x to the third times 1/3. The 3's cancel, giving me x to the first, which is simply x. Let's look at an example of what they're talking about. Example 14 says, transpose the formula v equal pi r squared h to make r the subject of the formula. So we're given v equal pi r squared h. We cross multiply by pi h. We get v over pi h equals r squared. Taking square roots, we get the square root of v over pi h equals the square root of r squared, where the square and the square root cancel. So I get the square root of v over pi h equals r. Rewriting the formula, we get r equals the square root of v over pi h. Hence, r is now the subject of the formula. Formula requiring factorization. Sometimes it becomes necessary to factorize a set of terms before changing the subject of the formula. Let me give you an example. 17. Make r the subject of the formula. V equal 3 capital R over capital R minus small r. So we're given capital V equals 3 capital R over capital R minus small r. We cross multiply by big R minus small r. We get V open bracket capital R minus small r close bracket equals 3 capital R. Using the distributive law, we get V times capital R is VR, capital V and capital R, minus V times small r is VR, equals 3 capital R. Grouping in terms of capital R on the left-hand side and transferring the other term to the right-hand side of the formula, we get, in other words, we're going to gather like terms. We're going to move this 3 capital R to the left and move the negative VR to the right. We get capital V capital R minus 3 capital R equals capital V small r. We factorize the left-hand side. We get capital V minus 3 in brackets times the r is equal to V small r. We cross multiply by V minus 3. We get capital R equals capital V small r over capital V minus 3. Hence, capital R is the subject of the formula.